A very warm good afternoon to everyone. This is Shruti Anand, journalist at K12 News, and I'm very delighted today with another session of K12 Talks 2021 Season 2. Today, I'm present with Mr. Pranay P. Oswal, who is the founder and managing director at iQube, also the general secretary at Bharatiya Janata Party BJP Education Cell Pune district, the territory head at Early Childhood Association of India, association member at APER, that is Association for Primary Education and Research, chamber member at Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, chamber member at Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture, Maharashtra State Coordinator at Charles Walters Society of Innovation and Research, executive member of Global Trainer Academy, chief advisor at EduZone V Connect, and lifetime core advisor at the World Teachers Association. So, sir, congratulations first of all on so many titles, and it's such a pleasure and we to have you today with us for this particular session of K12 Talks and how exactly the pandemic has affected the life of students, how exactly the teachers were affected, the school system was broke down for some time, but the warriors like you who played a vital role during the pandemic era for the students as well as for the parents.
Great. Thank you very much, Shruti. Thank you very much for inviting me over. And I also wish you congratulations for coming up with such a noble initiative under K12 News. And congratulations to you. Congratulations to Mr. Sunny Rathod. And once again, I'm in absolute gratitude for having me over here.
Thank you so much, sir. So, first of all, sir, I would like to know from you what exactly, as you're the founder and managing director at iQube, I would like you to share it with our audience today what iQube is and how exactly it is related to students.
Great. So primarily, iCube stands for Institute for Illumination of Intelligence Quotient, wherein we have authored 7 books on the subjects of IQ. All right, Shruti. So primarily, whenever somebody is planning to go abroad, or whenever somebody is planning to pursue any examination in our country, so what we have done is we have compiled the syllabus of all the global examinations and introduced this at school level, starting from grade 3 to grade 9. So primarily all these concepts starting from, so whenever somebody is planning either for a GRE or a GMAT or a UPSC or an MPSC or a TOEFL or any major examination happening around the equator. So what we have done is we have authored these books compiling on the topics like logical reasoning, verbal reasoning, linguistics, spatial interpretation, memory, problem solving, analysis, quants, QA, so that by the time a child is nearing his 10th grade, he's already well versed with all these concepts from a very early age. And most importantly, we are also issuing scholarships worth rupees 5 lakhs every single year to all these meritorious and deserving students. So yeah, year till date, it's our 7th year. We have over 75,000 kids with us, and we are happy that that we are taking baby steps in the space of education.
So it's wonderful to hear that with such an initiative and with a vision, you're helping the students out all over the country. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, as an educator, what are your comments on the importance of social interaction? I mean, the social interaction has been minimized. Like virtually, the students are not able to interact with their teachers or with their friends like they used to when they were in school. So, what are your comments on that?
Great. First of all, it's a brilliant question as such. See, it's going to be very difficult for children to participate actively both in the classrooms and challenge themselves academically now. It's going to be extremely important for them to make sure that they're building strong relationships both with the teachers and the students. It's going to be very important for them to build positive rapport from being parenting non-parenting authoritative figures rather. It's going to be important for them to harvest a very strong social maturity in the child. It's going to be extremely important for all the teachers and students particularly to come together and work hand in hand with each other and define themselves better as in what are their overall learning outcomes. When we are talking about the environment itself, it's going to be the major responsibility of the teacher to make it a point that now that when they're coming together, their overall social and emotional intelligence is not challenged every now and then. Rather, they are first accustomed to it. They are more adapted towards this environment. It also helps them build a very strong gut and a very strong determination. We need to encourage and we need to make it a point that during this social interaction between the teachers and students, while it is happening, we are also creating and building a very strong value setting and building academic excellence and also help the child being more articulative in his overall understanding of his overall concepts that's happening at the school level. We need to make it a point that the child is developing a trust in the teacher from a very early age, because the moment the child's trust is developed, once the child's trust is strong, only then it's going to be a big change, a big game changer in building the overall EQ and emotional intelligence of a child. And only then it will be mushroomed and garnished in a safe environment once the child is put in that setting. Yes, it's going to be extremely important to make sure that we are talking about strong communication skills, both verbal and non-verbal, because communication is the sign of the intelligent. And last but not the least, Shruti, it's very important for us to make it a point that we are developing the overall ask of a child. When I say ask, it is nothing but attitude, skill, and knowledge. No matter how smart the child is, no matter how competitive, no matter how much knowledge the child holds, but if his attitude is not in place, if it's not in play in the right setting, it is going to be extremely difficult for the child to make sure and cope up the other skills and knowledge which are important in the ask category. So yes, attitude, skill, and knowledge is something which I strongly talk and propagate about. And I believe strongly that if these things are in play, things will be in much better position.
Absolutely, very well said. And I mean, this was a very dark time. So, however, the students and the educators kept up with it, it was so wonderful. Other than that, the factor like you people stood as a warrior, all the educators everywhere in the world with the student. So, I mean, everyone has moved to a virtual school thing, right? That's what we have been living with for past 1.5 year or more.
Mhm.
But and now the students are very much comfortable. Like if you don't just speak about the kindergarten, the students above class first, they are very much comfortable. They don't have to like not all of them have to dress up every time they have to sit in front of the laptop. They can keep the video off. So exactly, they are not. Many of them are not even paying attention in the school, and this is for not for everyone, but yeah, many of them.
Mhm.
And because the students, they have to be. I mean, there has to be something that pushes them to study,
Mhm.
but it was not very much effective during the virtual thing. And now, as the school students and the parents are pretty much comfortable, and also they are terrified that when they go back to the school, the threat is not yet dealt with. It's still there. So, what are your comments on these particular factors?
Great. So one thing is very important, Shruti. A system is always important for a child to function in, and this system is primarily called school.
Okay.
No matter how smart we are at homes, no matter how smart we all are as parents, no matter how smart we are as educators, but unless and until we do not hand over the child, the word, the child in a proper school, things are not going to be the way it is supposed to be. Yes, they have missed out almost two academic years during this pandemic, almost two rather, it would be two very soon. They need to involve kids in early years, especially from 0 to 6, as you rightly mentioned. We need to involve a lot of play and pretend play with them. They need to see other kids of the same age group. What's happening is they are seeing adults, they are seeing grown-ups, they are seeing kids of not of their age group, but somebody who's 4 or 5 years elder to them. And this is not really right for them, because they are learning wrong behaviors and they're not understanding as in what is right and what is fake. We need to train them as in what is the right happy environment, and we need to put them in that right environment, and this is only going to be possible once we put them straight into the school. They have become more nervous, the anxiety levels are at an all-time high. We need to make sure that they are not missing out all these things moving forward. Once normal things start off, it's going to be absolutely fine, because let's accept not every parent is skilled to take up every child's studies, because it differs from board to board, it differs from school to school, and every parent is also not trained and he cannot cope up with the speed of the curriculum and the speed of the school. We need to be equally prepared, and street smart, we need to prepare them to cope up with the overall teaching mechanisms. One thing which they have missed out big time during this pandemic is meeting their friends. Meeting them again and again and with a different fresh outlook is something we need to be up particularly. So a lot of kids couldn't even have a formal farewell post 2020, and it's really upsetting, because some things, these were those days of our lives when a child is nearing his grade 10. He's almost living his all overall K12 years, K10 years right in that 10th year. So yes, academic excellence is one thing, and being good in non-academic activities is equally important for a child. But at the same time, as soon as the schools are reopening, it is going to be extremely difficult for all the schools to make sure that the learning is happening gradually, and they're also taking these outcomes one step at a time in the form of baby steps.
Very well. That being very well said, sir. I mean, hopefully the things will be better once we move into 2022. Fingers crossed there. Just hoping that the new year brings absolute light and happiness in everybody's life, and we are finally able to resolve this issue once and for all.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, sir, thank you so much for your presence today with K12 Talks 2021, for sharing your wonderful thoughts and your views, and of course, your experiences with our audience today. I'm pretty sure that it would somewhere be inspiring and admiring the people, the students, the educators itself.
True. Thank you very much, Shruti. And as Albert Einstein said, right, every child is a genius. But if you judge the ability of a fish to climb a tree all its life, it will end up believing it is stupid. So yes, we need to give the right opportunity to every single child and allow him to mushroom the way he wants to grow.
Absolutely, sir. That being very well said.
Sure.
Thank you so much for your presence. So, people, thank you so much for your support. Of course, this is Shruti Anand, journalist at K12 News, today present with Mr. Pranay P. Oswal, who is the founder and the managing director at iQube. Thank you so much, sir. If you could just add on the social media that we can follow iQube at.
Sure. You can follow us on Facebook and you can follow us on iCube.org.in.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, people. Just stay connected with K12 News, iQube, and stay tuned. We'll be back with another session.
Thank you so much, Shruti.